I think here in Europe, level 3, level 4, I feel like most teams are finding kills on either of these side lanes.
Well, we'll find out how he's going to do it today against Heretics in the drafts. As we jump into picks and bans, the one game that XL did manage to win was against Fnatic in the opening game of the season. Battle of the week.
Battle of the week.
I remember Medius coining it, which really brought me joy. This time around, they're going to be on the red side, immediately banning away that Draven, targeted towards Jack Spectra. I think I definitely want to see what Xerxes is going to do, what jungle champion he's going to be put on. And also I want to see from the solo lanes. Odo had some great moments last week, but also got absolutely insta-gibbed a couple times as well, so pretty inconsistent approach here to the beginning of spring. Conversely, Jankos has just been a star. All 3 games really tried a 1v9 and unfortunately was sometimes let down by either the calls, the communication, or the approach, right? So for Heretics, it's also about shoring up some of those weaknesses.
It definitely is, and I think they're going to stick to what's working Heretics. In that sense, Jankos, pick a strong jungle champ for him early, and looking at the draft already, there will be a strong jungle champ open. Things like Wukong are open, Vi, Lee Sin, Elise, Sejuani, everything's open right now. It's just Flex is being banned away in bot lanes right now. The Flex is being Jace, Gragas, and Annie, and then there's the Draven Caitlyn taken away so far. Xayah Rakan, said it last game, I'm gonna say it again, I feel like Xayah Rakan in Europe so powerful. There is one jungle ban onto Jankos, taking away his Jarvan. He hasn't actually played Jarvan once yet, I think.
No, not just
but
yet.
Trying to limit his play around the map, the early game. There's the Rakan first pick. I feel like this week of scrims for Europe has been very Xayah Rakan heavy.
I mean, Mercer has already got 3 games of Rakan under his belt this year. Only 1 win to his name limit, as well as Patrick. No Zion nor Rakan. Obviously, that change here from winter to spring now for XL. Do they deny the Rakan, like we just saw from game number 1?
Xayah.
Lock in that Gragas. Thank you, the Xayah. Lock in that Gragas as a potential option, or what direction do they want to take this?
Yeah, I think something like the Xayah denial is necessary. You don't want to give over Xayah Rakan unless something like Caitlyn or Draven's open. I feel like these are the 2 champions that you pivot towards and give them the full combo. If they're both down, take it away. And they have done Nautilus on 3, something like that. Maybe a Leona, maybe picking up a jungle here, something like the Vi or the Lee Sin. Depends what Xerxes really wants to lean towards.
I mean, he's not going to go Lee Sin.
Sejuani works as well.
Historically speaking, Xerxes and Lee Sin, not something we've seen.
Yeah, that's true. I remember.
Instead, it will be the Sejuani. So he's played that twice this year. Neither of them were victories. Going to move away from that Gragas as an option. Jankos with a near instantaneous lock-in. It will be the Wukong, his most played champion this year.
Is Kalista something they want to think about? Actually would be pretty dangerous with Nautilus on 3, so they're going to go towards a more standard AD carry. Something like the Zeri is being hovered. I think, again, you can play Zeri, you can play Kai'Sa, you can play Aphelios. Anything really works with Rakan. Even Ezreal, Sivir works. So, going to go for Zeri. And now I really think Nautilus just has to be a pick here on 3 for XL. Lockdown onto the Zeri, winning lane. Makes it so your bot matchup is in a good spot. Now you can pick something else because we've seen last game Rel works pretty well into this Rakan lane. If you want to play Rel, if you want to play Nautilus, you want to play Leona, that's 3 options. You can drop support, but I think Nautilus point and click is a must. Melee champ, you need it next to Sejuani. So both teams focusing on jungle bot, no surprise, and now they're going to move into the solo lane bans.
I mean, that Nautilus is going to be Limit's 4th most played champion. Look, he's only got 120, 130 games. I can see 11 of them are on the champion, around a 50% win ratio. The thing that I do like, though, when I look at a team like XL, when you do have this pretty clear, pretty simple sort of engage, look for the Sedge ult, look for the point and click Nautilus ult. If anybody's in threat, Patrick's got the feathers. So you've got that keep it simple. That next word, whatever it is. Sejuani, keep it simple. Sejuani. Approach, which I do like. And then obviously, what is VTO and Odo going to do? And I think, obviously, a lot of fans, a lot of people at home have been talking about VTO's limited impact throughout the course of the 2023 season. Looked a little better last week than he did in winter, but still a lot to be desired versus pre-season expectations.
Yeah, I like seeing VTO on a bit more of a playmaker, something like Ari or TF, something where he can actually get stuck in these games. Talia would be something that I would really like to see here on 4 for VTO. I don't really want to see him on things like the Victor again. Azir's already banned, control mage is being taken away slowly. Ruby is more of a control mage player. I mean, just looking at his champion pool, this split, Azir most played with 8 and everything else is at 2 and 1, so he's been leaning into that champion a lot. Olaf taken away as well. Looks like a target towards Ebby.
And I think the VTO call, specifically on the Ari, if I remember correctly, I think they played that into Vitality at the end of last week and didn't necessarily have that influence. And I think for XL playing G2 and Vitality, very tough opponents for their 1 and 2 week.
Definitely. I was just going to bring it back to draft just quickly because I feel like something like GP Talia here on 4-5 could be really good for XL if they want to shut down the Zeri Rakan. Okay, there's the Talia ban. That makes it a bit more difficult. Is Cassante something they pivot to then on 4 here? Deny it from Evi? Yeah, I think it is just an easy pickup. So now Evi will probably have to go for something like the Renekton. I do think the Cassante just makes more sense when you're playing Sejuani Nautilus, just get more front line, and then Evi's forced into some kind of Gnar or Renekton lane. Then I'm curious what Ruby will blind pick. Is he really going to go for something like the Victor? I'd be a bit worried. Aatrox, not the best on this patch, but into Sejuani Cassante would be great. But also, band-aiding top and putting him on a tank wouldn't be the worst idea either. I feel like Sylas or Yone could also be pretty powerful in these drafts. We'll see what direction they go in. I think a Sylas blind here for Ruby with the Talia ban would make a lot of sense. I
mean, I'm taking a look through Ebi's career. Over 350 games. Sion is way down there. Only 4 career games ever played. This will be his 5th. He did win 3 of those, but I think I do like that. When you do combo with the Zeri, with the Wukong, and potentially this like hard carry in the caster, it'll be the pivot to Victor, and you're cringing a little bit. Why it's the eyebrows furling?
Well, no, I think it's all right. I mean, I don't think Victor's. I think it makes sense. Control mage, wave clear, scaling. It ticks all boxes. I think there needs to be more playmaking right now in these drafts. They have a tank top. They have an easy front to back. Heretics' comp is really straightforward and makes a lot of sense. Don't doubt it whatsoever. Yeah, Yone could be something they go towards with the Sejuani. Syndra is another champ that I think fits their comp pretty well in terms of skirmish mid-game heavy. Looks like VTO is probably going to lean towards that. It just gives you a bit more power in the mid to late game. But I think both options work pretty well. Looks like it's going to be the Yone instead. Helps get through the Sion and gives them a tiny bit of AP damage. A little bit of hybrid next to the Sejuani and Nautilus. But that is a Sion who will stack a lot of armor. So the longer this game goes on, the tankier Ebi will get. Now, will Ebi do the level 1 Sion shenanigans that BDS did to him? Will he look for any kind of late invades? Will he look for any kind of split map, cross maps with the Sion level 1? I doubt it, but I'll hold my breath before I see it. But anyway, Heretics, very simple front to back. XL, really strong melee. Mid-game comp, very skirmish heavy.
Do you have a preference on who you want to see have a larger impact early on? It feels to me like there's a bit more of a ticking time bomb on the XL side, maybe to generate that lead, maybe not allow that front-to-back team fight scaling of Heretics to get into a safe position.
Yeah, in a vacuum with 6 items, I think Heretics comp is a bit better. But I think you have preferences on playstyles when it comes to the individuals. I'm a very skirmish-heavy person who really likes early to mid-game comp, so I would lean a little bit more towards XL's comp in the fact that they can really hard punish through bot and mid. And I think Heretics are the ones just trying to make sure that they can go even. And playing this even style can work if you're very careful and you just play very safe and you avoid most fights. That's what Heretics will have to try to do.
The thing that I really, really like about this Yone pick, the very last lock-in here for XL, is a bit of a signal, a little bit of a... You anticipate and you expect BTO to execute well to pop up, but also he needs to combo. He needs to synergize, find those knockups, find the combinations with the likes of the Cassante, the likes of that Sejuani. If he doesn't, it's going to be a difficult situation. We're about to hit the rip for Heretics taking on XL. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Thank you so much, announcer lady. Definitely helping out the timing there.
I've never really thought about that.
I've never looked at the voice actor either. For the briefest of briefest times, I managed to have a little bit of a voice in the game, but Mercer's going to be the one that's being jumped on. As all of a sudden, Jankos is backed up here by Ruby, by Evi, Jack Spectra, 5 members forward. Patrick forced to flash down to 200. That'll be a small advantage. Definitely something that could be punished.
Definitely will be.
If Heretics can find another opportunity.
Yeah, can look for an early level 1 gank. Now that does hurt their bot lane a lot because now they can't play as far up as they would want. You really want to get the Nautilus in the Rakan's face and make sure you can start pushing him in, but now he's a lot more vulnerable. Patrick put a ward down on their red buff. Interestingly enough, Heretics didn't drop a ward. Looks like Jankos has now walked in and placed it after he realized that they hadn't placed a ward prior, and he's going to start on the top side of the map.
Now, very quickly, I talked a little bit about Xerxes' stats from last week. I want to put some numbers to it. He had the 3rd highest team proximity at 14 minutes at 52% of his time. So that's a significant amount of time around your team. But when you look at kills plus assists, he was 9th. Kill participation, he was 10th. Goal difference, minus 300. So for Xerxes, I need to see an improvement over the course of the next few games. And I think if you can already see Limit flash this in that bottom lane, if Jack Spectra and Mercer try to set up any plays, maybe there's an option to counterpunch. I know you're maybe going to set something up, maybe you can shadow, maybe you can try play for that counter gank, and try to allow this early game, the skirmishing comp from XL, to get started a little bit early, as Limit's already going to find that dredge line, but not too much more damage.
Nice hook, a little bit of a chunk, both junglers pathing down here. To no surprise, 2 tanks in top lane. I mean, Odoamne will win out and get the push, yes, but I don't think the Sion will be under that much pressure or that much threat. Sante can do a lot of damage at level 6, of course, but as long as Ebby's safe, he doesn't get knocked back too many times on these grasp stacks, I think top lane's not really a point of focus. It's always going to be on this bot side of the map. So Xerxes, 3 camps. He can go for a mid gank here. If we can go over to Xerxes who's finishing his Raptors, I think he can run towards mid after this camp. Looks like he was hovering on the bot side, but he's going to go for the full clear.
Well, the Observer's keeping track of the bottom lane. Hex Flash into the Dredge line. I'm keeping my eyes on that mini-map as well. Xerxes can instead turn towards the Wolf camp. They're not going for that opportunity.
This is something that Treats was alluding to on the Telestrator, saying that he always was a little bit late to the plays, and he's going for full clears quite often. I'd love to see him go for some kind of bot threaten, or maybe some kind of late invade, some invade at level 3 with limit next to him or something along those lines. But he's going to play it safe, and Exile just going to play for vision, get the Sejuani to level 4, get the bot crap, and then likely help their bot lane get a base.
Okay, so very quickly, help me understand. XL suck, right? They're 1 and 2. They had a terrible winter. Is that the... Oh, there's a few people tuned. I'm just checking. Kadrill, I mean, when we look at the matches, they beat Fnatic, they lost to Vitality in G2. So how do I interpret week 1? Because I want the definitive statements here.
Yeah, so, I mean, some people are putting him in the same wheelhouse as teams like Heretics and Fnatic, you know, the teams that are really, really struggling. And as much as I agree, looking at their strength of schedule, it's hard to just call them out already. I mean, they beat Fnatic, great, but they lost to Vitality and G2, who are our 2 best teams right now on paper. I'll hold my breath because Xerxes, I think he does have double buffs, it's just not showing. Jankos is there.
Waiting for that engage, and I think I'll end that story for a moment, because obviously they're playing Heretics who's sitting at the bottom of the table, but they also play Mad Lions and SK later this weekend for Excel. Going to start to look for some winning ways. So we'll force the flash out of Jankos, runs for his life, and get that scuttle. So for Excel, small advantage, yes, small gold lead for the time being. And yeah, that was the whole thing we were kind of alluding to, is like, how do they handle now week 2? How do they handle the opponents that are closer to them in the standings?
Yeah, they need to get wins in these next few weeks. They've only got 2 left. They've only got 6 games left. This is one of them. And they've already played the top team, so this is the bounce back for Excel, you'd hope.
Oh, Heavy and Odo trading heavily. Minions helping out, down to 300 HP. Flash for Heavy, Ghost there for Odo. No junglers making their way just yet.
Double crab for Xerxes will put him off to a nice early jungle lead. You saw Jankos kind of scratching his head when he lost that bot crab a couple seconds ago. A bit confused, maybe thought they could actually fight that, but XL bot lane was first to the play, and despite Ruby being there, low on mana, not as impactful as something like the Yone in skirmishes at 4 minutes into the game. But he's going to base, pick up the double longsword, start clearing through his camps. Mami Center picked up for Xerxes to help him with his own clear, so no action just yet. But I think Limit and Xerxes need to pair up together, go towards mid, get Ruby's flash, keep this Victor under tower, and then get VTO down towards bot lane. That should be their plan. It looks like they're moving towards mid now.
Okay, Joel, just like you and Limit were talking, Treats were talking a little bit about, Xerxes on that full clear, manages to at least get that small skirmish in the river, and here's Limit on the move. We'll find the control ward, is Hex flashed over. I'm looking at the minimap. Xerxes just in that chicken camp, just north, and Ruby's, he's playing defensive, he's a little bit aware of it.
He needs to flash here, Limit. Limit needs to just flash hook and get Ruby's flash, or they need to get the Victor sums out now.
Oh, waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it, and nothing's gonna happen. Nothing ends up happening. Kedril, was I
just no one clipped that out. No one cut out the soundbite of Trevor of the last 10 seconds of commentary. Now Jankos is here to cover, trying to figure out if he can get information on Xerxes, who ran through mid. Limit's still here. Maybe he's just playing in the human ward here. He's put his pink down. Doesn't actually... It did spot Jankos, actually, so they know that they're in these... But they're going to go for the kill.
Waiting for
Mercer's here. Ruby just digged over to level 6, though. Do they really want this fight? Level 3 Nautilus?
Well, we're going to find out. 6, 4, and 5 for Ruby, Mercer, and Jankos. They're stepping away. Xerxes was making his way forward. Patrick is just inside the blue buff of his own jungle, and instead XL are going to start off the dragon. Now, what is the cost of this? Small advantage for CS in the top lane. Odo continues to pressure, and the rest of the waves are even. Do
they get away with this dragon is the question. Jankos is here. Ruby's 6, and he's first on the move. They just helped out the mid push, and VTO's under tower. Jack's on the way up. XL.
Oh, Dragon's going to go low. All multiple members in there. 4 versus 4 for now. Limit's forced to flash, so is Xerxes. Low members on XL. Ruby's going to be the target, and that's the engagement. Jankos is going to be targeted up, but not taken down. Jankos escapes with his life. First blood secured by Heretics. The dragon may have been gift wrapped as well, and that's secured by Heretics.
What is XL doing? On paper, they are going for the right play and trying to shut down Ruby, but they're just standing there looking at him for like the last 2 minutes. The Nautilus is level 3. Ruby's first on the move, level 6 with mid push. Jack can collapse. They don't really have as much vision as they maybe thought they did, or as much pressure on the map. And then they just kind of get sandwiched and die. So bit confusing. VTO is way too far away. Let's look at when VTO arrives and then look at where Limit and Xerxes are. They just both flashed out and now VTO is going in, so a lot of miscoordination from XL.
Timing just not on their side. Surrounded, numbers disadvantage, and just like you highlighted, XL, they started the Dragon. So first of all, they held the trigger in the mid lane. I think, you know, respecting the fact that Ruby still had his flash available, maybe feeling that he was smelling it or could have been aware.
Yeah.
After that fizzles, they danced on the Dragon, started really early on, 6.5 minutes. It ends up being gift wrapped. So Heretics, they're up a little bit of gold. They got that first Dragon to the name. The kill was also secured by Jack Spectra on the Zeri. So that is a little bit scary, but that will balance out the CS advantage Patrick had built up.
Yeah, the problem is they didn't have any waves pushing in, so it's not like they had a numbers advantage. I think XL just needs to flash, get Ruby's flash, and then when the Victor has no flash, it's just so hard for Ruby to walk into River. One hook, one Sejuani in a bush, he's dead. The Immobile Mage really struggles when he loses that summoner early, but he's kept it up for the last 8 minutes, and I think XL really want to force it out. But now it looks like the tides have turned. She just highlighted it. Jack Spectra has the kill, and now they have bot push, and now Merce has first to mid. So this whole early game skirmish plan that XL is going for is falling apart.
Not working out. Xerxes level 6, 2 hymns. VTO's Fate and Sealed is on cooldown. And if you look at the minimap, Mercer was the first to arrive, at least there for any potential shenanigans. The bot lane from XL is the first to move. They shoved into Jack Spectra and now making their way towards the mid lane. We could be setting up for a Rift Herald fight here, but it feels a little bit discombobulated with the movement around the Rift. Some waves being pressured, and this time it'll be VTO stepping forward, jumped on, and trading a little bit of damage with Ruby and Mercer.
Yeah, props to Mercer, who's always been here on midway when Limit's here. Jankos. Do they know he's here? Limit's hovering next to Xerxes.
Do now. Dredge line will catch the monkey. Cyclone being used. Nimbus strike as well. Ruby's flashed over the wall with the Chaos Storm. Limit is taken down. The knockup connects onto VTO. He's locked inside the gravity field. Forced to use the flash as well to escape with his life. But another kill goes the way of Heretics. And frankly, they are just making more of their movements across the map.
Heretics are just playing better right now in this 3v3 jungle mid support. They're answering better. They're playing over waves way more than XL. XL are just trying to run in a straight line and force a fight. It's never really going to work. Odoamne's fighting up against Ebby. Jankos is there. Mercer's level 6.
Gone all out. Here comes Mercer with the quickness. Ebby will be taken up, but in zombie form can put a lot of damage down in reply. Ruby gets a kill onto Odo.
Oh, get him.
So
get him, Mercer.
For one, the Crocs have been enlisted, and Mercer will finally secure the kill onto Xerxes. 4-1 as well as the Rift Herald here.
And they're going to pick up the Rift Herald here, Heretics. This 2 neutral objectives over to a comp that has Victor Zeri at 9 minutes. Limit's here to try to contest. XL know they can't give this up. They have to fight back. Merce has recalled. Ruby has TP. He needs to base and TP back. XL cannot do the Herald, but they've stopped it for now at least. Patrick, they're lane swapping here. XL are just saying, you know what, we just have to blow this map wide open. Keep the Herald leashed. Get their jungler across here quickly. Jankos maybe wants to steal it. Ruby has the TP, but the bot lane's in base. Can he get it and get out?
Stepping
Can
forward.
he get it and get out?
Crushing blow. Smite's available to him. Uses the Cyclone as well, and it's secured. Needs to pick up the eye. Tries to escape with his life. Manages to pick up the eye and will be conceding the kill. It's Limit that picks it up. That's actually fantastic for Heretics.
It's so worth it.
Yes.
XL just lane swapped for this Herald. They wanted to take this Herald and put it top and take the whole top tower, but now they have nothing. Now it's Heretics where Jankos can just run bot and place it for Jack Spectra. So these neutral objectives are never really going in their favor. XL just kind of sitting here next to a Scion who they cannot dive. Watching him wave clear in their face, and now they're probably going to have 3 losing lanes.
Well, looks to be the case. Ruby and Mercer will be under a little bit of threat here. Xerxes got no prison available to him. Fate is unsealed. Ruby's the target. Gravity Field is dropped down. The knockups and the follow-up is just too much to deal with.
Yep.
So a great 2v2 kill there from XL.
Much better. This is how the game needs to look for XL. They really need to start putting Ruby on the back foot, whether it's the push, the summoners, the kills, whatever it may be. Mercer's going to try and stop his base here. Won't get him in time. And now Patrick's realized, okay, we've screwed up the lane swap, we didn't get the Herald, I need to run back towards mid-bot quickly. So XL are regressing from their plan, and Jankos is down on this bot side. He has the Herald, but he's unsure if he wants to place it because the jungle support of XL is hovering around. It's a 3v3, actually a 4v3 because Odoamne's here.
It's so unfair to say this, K-Drop, but I'm going to say it anyway. That mid-lane engage from Xerxes and VTO, imagine if that had happened at 6 minutes when we're waiting for the engage onto Ruby, where's level 5. That's what I wanted to see.
It's exactly what they need to do. Even level 3, Xerxes could have just done 3 top camps, Q flash, maybe got Ruby's flash, not over chase into bot side jungle, something along those lines is what they needed to look for. But here we are in this game state. 1,000 gold lead over to Heretics. Jankos, you can see his stats there, just incredible stats. Despite them being 0-3, being top 3 in these stats is just, it's exceptional.
I mean, I was listening to the Zoomers on TikTok at the top of the show today. I don't know, was it Evelyn and I don't know, Fried Sun or something? I can't remember the names. But they were talking about how, like, Jankos is the main character of Heretics, and last weekend he definitely showed it. Huge kill participation, huge damage per minute. This game helped set up that first dragon, helped him steal away the Rift Herald. Hasn't dropped it yet, but now we'll also secure the second dragon. The Heretics are about 1,000 gold up. Xerxes got the ultimate available to him, so we've got another skirmish being set up here, Kadril.
3v3.
Well, quickness comes out, feathers, fly, can pull them backwards, and Spectra stepping forward. Zap, zap, zap. We're playing on the Infernal Rift for now.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to get more than just the ults.
I think the most important thing that Jankos has done this game is his patience has been really, really nice to see. Around the dragon, just waiting for the right moment. Around the Herald, knowing that he needs to trade it off, waiting for the right moment. And props to Mercer, who has been really struggling this split, but now leaving bot lane, pairing up with Jankos and roaming around the map seems to be where he's really comfortable, making sure he's always on this mid wave, just covering his mid laner.
And it's 100% kill participation for both of them. Mercer as well as Jankos involved in all 4 of their team's respective kills. I also think involved in both of the neutral objectives as far as they've been secured, the 2 dragons and the Herald. Rift Herald was dropped in the middle lane, gets a couple of plates, and immediately look at the invade. Jankos is flanked by Mercer, the top wave. Abby can respond. Here comes Ruby as well, so another threat, a show of force. The Heretics will just literally steal the red buff and walk away.
And their comp scale's way better as well. It's a sad reality that Excel's living in. It's not the end of the world though. Mid game is on the horizon. Lane phases will start to shake up, and that's where they can use these champions like Nautilus and Sejuani to just straight up engage onto Heretics and see if they respect it and respond well. Odoamne's trying to get Ebby down here. He has the ultimate. He's trying to block it.
Trying to get in the way, stepping forward. Ghost still available to him. Time to go all out. Limit will dredge line off to a minion, and Ebby just runs himself to safety. Jankos has got the Cyclone available to him. Will stealth forward, knock up Odo. He's forced to dash to safety. The Glacial Prison comes down. Jankos may have bitten off more than he can chew. There's no support from the rest of Heretics in the 3v2. Ebby's forced to flash. He's chunked out, stunned up, locked down, and zombie mode. Jankos tries to get something back. Let the zombie run! They manage to trade 1 for 1 for now. And it ends up being just that.
This is a 2v3. Look, bot. Patrick on lane now. They're going to have to back off this tower here, XL. They just lost the 2v3 on the top side in a 1 for 1. Good force there by Jankos. Looked a little bit hairy to begin with, but they managed to kite back enough to get the fully stacked Conqueror. TP coming in to defend.
Still going to be a win here on behalf of Heretics. We'll get that teleport out of Odo, meaning not available for the next move. And again, a good counterpunch. Heretics maintain the lead.
I mean, Odoamne ideally would have loved to have catched this top wave here. A lot of it's bled out now, but that wave's going to bounce, so they're either losing bot or top wave. Looks like they lose the top one because of the TP towards bot side, but great 2v3 here by Heretics. Ebby's just trying to escape. I wonder if Limit could have just flashed in front of this Scion ult to stop it from happening. Not sure how far away he was, but the hook comes out. I think maybe he was not in range. But he decides not to anyway. Jankos arrives, goes onto Odo, who has the Q3 up, so a little bit unlucky. Could have maybe waited for it to time out, but Odoamne would have close enough distance to be able to escape. Xerxes lands the ultimate, not enough damage to take Jankos down initially. And it looks like the jungler, the classic jungler, just sold out his top laner for no reason. But with this Conqueror, red buff, Sunderer just slowly burning through Xerxes.
Man, that hits so hard. I will say, technically that's a 3v3, right? Because Zombie Scion surely counts as another champion. Surely. Surely. Come on, don't look at me like that with Kadril. Like, that has to count, right? That's a 3v3?
Yeah. Well,
Kadril disagrees completely. Like, seriously. If looks could kill, I would have dropped
If it was a full lethality
now.
Scion, I would say yes. Phase Rush, Baus, full lethality Scion. Amen to that.
Didn't manage to work out, but Abby still gets that kill. I'm going to take a brief second because I think Odo is one of the sort of shining lights here for XL, despite the fact that in that 3v2 didn't go exactly the way of XL. He's got the small advantage over his opposite number, had the push, and I think over the last couple of games when match against Fnatic is one of the next 2, we've seen some glimmering moments from him. The thing is, on a champion like K'Sante that can combo with Yone, there's more pressure to find those outplays, jump onto Victor, jump on Azir. If he doesn't shut them down, that's going to be very difficult for XL to come back into this game here.
It is, and I feel like top lane is just such an irrelevant role right now that most games are won when the top laners haven't even impacted the game yet. Similar kind of story for Odo when the mid-bot side fell apart, but maybe they can salvage it here.
Limit may have gone a little too far. Dredged line will be replied with the knock-up. Here comes Ruby over the wall, can drop that Chaos Storm. Looking from behind, Vito can come in. Unstoppable onslaught goes forward. Odo drops the all-out. Herald was secured by Jankos and Heretics, and XL are completely split. They don't concede any kills, but they lose another neutral objective.
XL is struggling to get through this Scion. Sunfire AK, plated steel caps. He's going to keep stacking and stacking that armor. And it's going to be harder and harder for XL to burn through him. They need to find a way onto Ruby. They got his flash. That's good. They just need to make sure that in the next fight they can take him down. 15 seconds on this dragon, no ultimates on the bot side of XL. Couple ultimates expended from Heretics as well, Jack, Ruby, and Evie. And that'll put them on sole points here, so Heretics are committing for this. TP bolts from Evie is going to push out the lane. Ruby's ready to respond with a TP of his own. I think both teams are hesitant. They're waiting for their ultimates.
Jungler and Jungler.
Oh, it stopped it.
Jankos got interrupted, forced to flash over the wall. Ultra Shock Laser is fired. Teleport through Evie into the river, but the damage is too high. Cersei takes down Mercer, and all of a sudden Jankos is dropped by Vito. 5 versus 3, and Evie cannot find the engage. The Infernal Dragon is up. 17.5 minutes. XL peel for the pits.
That's it. That's exactly what XL need. That's put them right back into this game. They're going to deny this dragon, get some kills onto Vito. Level 12 on this Yone now. He's going to be a massive threat on the side lane. They've put a plug in this dragon stacking. Ebby needs to be a little bit careful.
Put a plug in the dragon so it doesn't drain the tank. Sorry, I just don't really know what to follow that one. And Odo's held Heavy in place, trying to get back up here from limit. There's no one else.
Kill him. He's just too tanky.
2 seconds for unstoppable onslaught, and this is actually a great example of something you said during draft, Kadril. Once Ebby stacks all that armor, once he builds up the ability to stand toe-to-toe, how on earth do XL kill him? The thing is, him staying alive, will it buy enough time for Ruby and Jack Spectre to actually deal with the members of XL? Because yes, he's a tonky boy, but the guys behind him are definitely not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with the Cassante, the Yone that long.
Yeah, they need time. They need a lot of time. They need items. So, getting a replay of the TP here from Ebby on bot side, and then the engage from XL. And it comes off the back of Jankos just getting cancelled on the W here. He tries to go over the wall, gets stopped, has to flash, but then the force comes through, doesn't run towards mid because he's scared of Vito's TP, but Vito manages to gap close with the ultimate. They get 2 kills, one onto Vito is big, and then they get the dragon. So, XL, they have to get more of that. They have to get more skirmishes around this map.
If they get themselves more Infernal Drakes, that's also going to help out trying to deal with that front line, increase the damage of their entire composition. I'm very happy to see that we've got a much more even game set as we approach 20 minutes. Gold next to Irrelevant. 2 dragons to 1. We're 4 minutes away from the next dragon, but with only 0 towers taken, neither of these teams have really been able to use that lane assignments to unlock the rift, and we've seen that play out. As once again, another engage. Welcome to the ARAM. Jankos is already taken down by Patrick at the cost of Limit's life. Heretics have dropped the Herald, and this should be able to take the first tower of the game, and it just about does. So advantage once again overall, but Vito, does he fancy himself an engage? It doesn't feel like it right now.
That's the one pressure point for XL right there. It's Vito. You can see tops just constantly pushed in. They can never really play on this top tier 1, so they're going to move towards bots here. So we're going to have a cross map where XL tries to get the top tower, Heretics will get the bot tower, and it should be even trade. They got a 1-for-1, but they got the mid tower, so Heretics favored. This game just so crucial for both of these teams. XL need to start picking up these wins. They've already played against the hardest teams, and Heretics need to get off to a win somewhere. 0-3 right now. They need to get involved. Need to get into that top 8.
What do you think of the mid game from what you've seen of XL, Heretics over the last 3 games that they played? Because they do feel to me like they're in control of the pace of the game. Yes, it's a small advantage, but more importantly to me is the skirmishes have gone their way. I feel like they've been a little bit more successful when they have made plays around neutral objectives. Is their mid game going to be strong enough to carry through the small lead?
I think the worry I have for Heretics is their late game has been lackluster, and they're playing a very scaling heavy comp that we've alluded to a lot throughout this game. They need to be very careful not to get lost in the chaos. XL will want to fight, they'll want to find skirmishes, they need to play really patient, reserved, wait for items, not over tunnel vision. And when it comes to these dragon and Nash trades and soul trades and things like this is where I think Heretics fall apart in the communication.
That's going to be under a lot of threats, and I think conversely, for XL, they have to find more of those opportunities. It took a little while for them to warm up. The first 10 or so minutes, really a little late to the punch, a little slow to engage. But once we have had a few of those objectives between 10 and 20, it's looked good. I think I want to give some kudos to Xerxes. He's 3-3-3, so involved in 6 of his team's 7 kills, a player that I personally heavily criticized. He has been responding to those bigger skirmishes, and importantly as well, Vito and Patrick have now also joined the fray. 202, 102. Those are going to be 2 players that need to stand up and deliver.
Yep.
Vito especially has to find some multi-man knockups, get to that backline, disrupt Ruby and Jack Spectre, because Evie will take an eternity to drop.
He will. It's only really Vito that can start burning through. He's just picked up his Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster Infinity Edge. Yone, 21 minutes in, he is really, really strong right now. I think that's going to be the point of focus for Heretics. If they can get the Rakan on top of him, if they can get the Wukong on top of him, it's all about Vito. Although I'm cheating the damage graph there, just attacking the Scion the entire game, just milking him for damage dealt.
Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly a fair fight. And I think when you do look at the composition as well, for XL, because when they do group up, Ruby's Chaos Storm and his lasers from that Death Ray are going to do so much work. We're a minute from the next Dragon, Kadril, and the game is stalled out. Only a couple towers have fallen in the last few minutes, but they've been kind of uncontested. So it feels to me like we're going to be setting up for another fight here. Not a lot of deep vision really on either side.
Yep.
So what do you make of the setups here? It looks to me like XL trying to at least get some mid-wave control.
Heretics have put a lot of their vision topside, so Mercer's going to base now and refresh his wards. I wonder if they're thinking of some kind of Baron rush if XL do over tunnel vision on this bot side onto this Dragon, but it looks like with Mercer coming out of base, he will move, join his jungler, join his AD carry, and I think they should be confident to take the next fight. They've just finished Navori on the Zeri, 2-item power spike, also available for Patrick. Dangerous though, face checking into Sejuani Nautilus. Who's going first? Oof. They need Ebby. They need Ebby to collapse and help them out. Otherwise, he's going to be the one that gets collapsed on, actually. Well,
Ebby's going to be the target, just like you said, Kadril. Odo's trying to step in between the rest of Heretics coming down from the rift, but Odo's the one that's losing out this fight. Multiple members of XL have arrived to the fray. Time to go all out. XL still unable to find the kill just yet. Now zombie mode has been activated. Heretics running for their lives, and all of a sudden it's Vito. He's pushing the mid wave. He's shoving the minions forward, hopping, chasing over the wall. Team Heretics trying to get another. They take down Limit, turn their attention over to Patrick. Feather Storm up and blast cones to safety. Vito seals the fates for Heretics. Odo gets at least one back, but they're going to run for their lives. They don't have the HP. They don't have the damage. And it's XL that are rooted and stepping away. Ruby's trying to get in range. He's used that Chaos Storm already. Ends up being a 1-for-2 in favor of XL, but Heretics may be able to get the Dragon.
Health bar's really low for XL. They have to reset. No TP on VTO, but there is a TP on Odoamne. Xerxes is sticking around. It's a 2v3, but did they just pull the trigger on a Baron here, maybe? They could just all run towards the top side and just drop this Dragon completely. Let's see what the call is. TP's coming in. The Dragon will die. Does XL want to make a play off the back of Heretics losing a lot of tempo on this bot side of the map?
We're going to find out. Look at the timers here. All of a sudden, Ebby has respawned. He's leaving the base with Mercer. Dragon number 3 secured at 23 minutes.
He didn't see the ward.
They're late into the pit. The ward is also unspotted, as you mentioned. So, advantage here to Heretics. XL, they're still going to start this one off, Kadril.
Oh my god, they're actually just going to go for it, aren't they? Everyone's out of base for Heretics. They know that they're on it. They might just have to back away. They're going to take a fight, though.
Limit's got that depth charge available to him. Ruby doesn't have the kill. Some 3 seconds on top of the Onslaught. 4 seconds for the Cyclone. Baron is chipping away, and XL from behind. Odo's looking for a flank opportunity.
Baron's still aggro. They're taking so much damage. They have to run away. XL going to back off. Heretics, so they start Baron themselves now. I think Jack Spectra needs to base, so he's going to push out mid. Bot waves crashing, top waves. XL have a lot of waves to catch here.
And there's more ultimates available for Heretics, so if this fight breaks out right now, as it has, the Cyclone's been dropped. Spectra hops over the wall. Limit's going to pull at least one member forwards, but the quickness from Mercer, locking up, stunning up, and XL are dumpstered inside their jungle. Those ultimate cooldowns were pivotal in winning the fight.
Yeah, they were patient there, Heretics, weren't they? They didn't pounce on the opportunity to engage on XL's right away. They waited for Jack to push him in and then collapse upwards. Xerxes has smite. He doesn't have any wards though. No vision in this pit for XL means that it's pretty impossible to steal it. Patrick doesn't have a ward either, so I'm not sure what they're looking for here. They have to be careful.
Jack Spectra's going to hop over the wall. VTO's coming from the river, but I think he's going to be a little too late to the party, and Heretics maintain control of the game. They extend 4,000 and they just push XL around.
I just want to say, as much as we're going to watch this team fight, that bot lane turn in the river, yeah, I think Jankos called it, where they all jumped over the wall, was a really ballsy call to make. So respects to whoever made that call, because that's what saved them, this Dragon, and got them to this position in the first place. Good punish. Odoamne overextending in this fight. The front line just gets burned through. Limit has no chance of getting out whatsoever. And then Heretics pick up the Baron. But that bot side river fight, I would love to know who called the turn.
And on top of that, in that bot side river fight, because so many ultimates and subs were actually used, when they got to the Baron fight just a minute and a half or so later, the fact that Heretics cooldowns came online just a few seconds earlier, like Cersei, Vito, Patrick, were still on cooldown, it allowed the Cyclone, it allowed the quickness, and it just gave Heretics the tools they needed.
It's one of those things where Ebby's dead, XL didn't really use much, they're just going to run around the blue buff and back into the Dragon Pit and take it in your face, and you've lost control of the game, but no, that turn saved them, and now Heretics are sitting almost 4,000 gold up on Soul Point, 2 minutes 30 seconds away from that Infernal, and XL, the one's looking for the play, Jack Spectra.
All of a sudden, going to hop over the wall, such a long distance. The ultimate used there from Limit, frankly, irrelevant, frankly, does not matter. And I think with Baron-empowered minions, and the fact that they've got this front line, and the fact that it's going to be so hard for VTO and Odo to find a way to the back line, again, Heretics have all the tools they need to deal with the composition that XL have put together, and it's going to make it even more difficult. That goal difference will feel a lot larger. despite the fact Patrick is doing a lot.
Hook hits.
Edgeline will pull
TP
Evie into the
in.
tower. Feathers will lock him in place. That's a very good pick. The tower
VTO
is about
has got
to
a
fall. VTO, Fate Seal, but the rest of the team is being forced back. Cersei, Patrick, and Limits running for their lives, and VTO is taken down. There simply was no follow-up, no support, and no damage to back VTO up. So they lose themselves one, they lose the tower, and Heretics are not done yet.
Jankos is just obliterating XL right now in these team fights, just running straight at them, and there's no response. VTO's trying his best to find segment in the backline, but Mercer's peeling. His charm actually stopped him from getting a lot of burst out, and then he had to disengage before he knew it. Didn't get any of the health bars down. Ebi's just kind of doing his own thing. He's living in his own world, but Hook hits Jack.
It does. He's still got cleanse. He's still got flash.
That's a kill, maybe.
Use it. Jack's gonna hop over the wall. All sums down. XL continuing the chase. Ghost comes up.
They need more.
Odo's trying to use on top for blades. Hops over the wall, channeling those empowered recalls.
They need more.
Ruby is likely to be dropped here. He's going to get caught out. It's a minute until Dragon. 45 seconds on the death timer. What else can they play for? They've at least held their base.
It's not a lot, but they'll take it. They need to catch this top wave, push out and set up for this Dragon in 1 minute. You just highlighted it. 38 seconds on Ruby. Doesn't have the TP, but he'll be there in time. And we'll look at this again in mid. I think this is just where Ebi just oversteps, gets hit by the hook, but the fight continues shortly afterwards when they try to dive onto the backline of Heretics. VTO collapsing in with his ultimate after it lands onto Ruby from the Sejuani of Xerxes, but the charm connects, and then Jankos just keeps going in a straight line, spins through all of them, and then later on Jack Spectre gets hit by a hook, flash ease over the wall, manages to escape, and Ruby ends up losing his life.
I mean, small moments there. I think Patrick played that so well, comboing the CC with Limit to at least pick up the kill onto Ebi. Again, Limit stepping forward, finding that dredge line onto Jack Spectra. But what is the state of the rift?
20 seconds.
Blue wards all the way down in the southern quadrant of the jungle. XL into the river first, but they don't have deep vision. And a TP is being channeled as Odo will teleport to the bottom lane. VTO's got his, he's also got level 16.
Jack and Ruby don't have sums, and XL have set up. This is their one chance here, XL. They need to get onto the carries.
Do you believe in XL Esports? La 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 la. Teleport's being channeled just behind the banana bush. Heretics trying to find a target. Can't find it just yet. No flash, no cleanse for Jack. Mercer, level 11. Got the quickness available to him. VTO's going to step into the blue buff. Midwave is being caught by Jack and pushed backwards. Odo stepping forward. He's got a level advantage over most in his way. And we'll interrupt it. Now XL inside the pit. They're a little bit split here, Kadril.
Heretics are scared. Ruby and Jack Spectre are really scared to walk up. Limit, Xerxes, their turn is everything. They both have flash, so they can gap close. They're playing scared, though. Dragon's down to 6k. Odoamne's off to the side. VTO.
VTO, Fate, Unsealed, followed up beautifully, but the damage needs to connect. They found themselves Ruby. They found themselves Mercer. Odo staying alive on Jack Spectre before he's taken down. 2 for 2. VTO re-engages once more. The
No cleanse.
onto Jack. No subs. He's taken down, but it's an ultimate ace for Heretics.
Heretics are going to get the soul triple kill for Ebi. The Jack Show full tank Scion next to Jankos managed to pull them through this fight. No summoners on their carries. Both of them die, but the tanks stay alive.
Everything in the kitchen sink thrown onto Jack Spectra, and it just allowed Jankos and Ebi to tear through XL. I mean, there was just so much happening on multiple sides.
It was chaos, but this is it. This is everything XL had. They had to throw everything onto the carries. They managed to land onto Ruby, which was good. And then the ultimate from Odoamne makes it so he can get on top of Jack Spectre as well. You can see here he dashes through, lands on top of Jack, has both carries on top of him. But it's just a mess. They can't get past this front line. Xerxes and Limit can't even get onto the carries. Jack Spectre's untouched. VTO tries his best here on the turn in just a second with the flash Q. Lands the knockout. They get Jack down, but Jankos and Ebi are just dealing all their base damage, the Sunder, the Jack Show, and they stay alive.
Really nicely done by Heretics. Kadril, you said it in draft. You talked about the composition, you talked about the AD heavy comp, and look at that amount of damage Jack was able to put out despite the threat, at least in the second half of the fight. The fact that he was able to avoid VTO's ult allowed him a lot of time to just fire out that burst fire and allowed him to completely take over the game. The soul goes the way of Heretics. They've won most of the skirmishes. They seem to have a compositional advantage over XL, and now it's up to XL to find a miracle engage, to find a way to blow up Jack Spectre and Ruby, like both. They have to go to them at the same time, because otherwise Jankos and Ebi can just win the fight for Heretics.
And it's only going to get worse because their flashes are coming up now. Cleanse is up for Jack. XL need to just force a round 2. It's not going to get any better. They have Jack Show on the Yone now. They didn't have that before. Minute spike, but Mid-wave contest coming in. Heretics might just engage here. Mercer has the flash, Patrick doesn't, Vito doesn't. Odoamne's off to the side again, trying to find an angle. See if he can flank these carries, make them a little bit hesitant to walk up onto the front line of XL. Mid-wave contest is going to go in the favor of Team Heretics. Baron's up, but Odoamne's zoning them away.
6 seconds for Rubies, flash 2 seconds. Now the engage comes out from Heretics, however, they've taken out Vito. Odo's trying to apply a threat. The all-out will put some damage on the Jax Petrol, but Patrick's running for his life. Limit's already going to be taken down, and Odo will be able to force the rest of Heretics to slow things down. Now he's the target as Jankos jumps onto him. What can he do with that ult? Chased down by Mercer, being chucked out from Jax Petrol. Odo trying to do the best that he can, finally taken out. Ultimately, it's 3 kills for Heretics and likely the game.
Yeah, that is game. They're going to end it here. 4 man strong for Heretics. Only 2 members of XL left. Patrick has the ultimate. That's all he's really got to work with. If he can get through this wave, maybe they can actually salvage it for a little bit. Top wave's gonna get pushed in. They can look for this inhibitor.
Look at those standings. XL picked up 1 win at the beginning of this split. Now Heretics looking to pick up their first. Both of these teams have had a tough opening 3 games. XL will have a few minutes longer to live, but frankly, it feels like XL are in absolute control and has felt that way for the majority of this game. It hasn't been a significant lead, but they've been able to land more punches and they've had better answers to what XL are throwing at them.
Yeah, VTO dashes forward just 1 second too far there, 1 meter too far, instantly jumped upon, can't really impact the fight whatsoever. It instantly turns into a 4v5. Jankos is on top of Patrick. It's really hard for Patrick to play the game, so both carries are out of it. The only reason the game doesn't end here is because Odoamne manages to buy enough time, stall the game out, and get some kills. XL are rushing Baron. What's the health bar of that Baron? I think it's dead, actually. They might just pick this one up. No, it's actually 11k. I got a little bit baited there. They're going to look for the turn onto Heavy, though.
The rest of the time, however, Jax Spectre's making his way through the river, hopping over the wall. He's got both of his sums available to him, and Heavy will go to zombie form. Glacial Prison goes out. Vito dashes forward and manages to bounce right backwards. So they get themselves a kill.
Yeah.
They're buying some time. Super minions are pouring into their base. They have to deal with that. And Heretics, they can start the Baron themselves.
4v5. Vito is managing to catch these mid-waves. He has TP as well. Heretics realize they can't force this. They don't want to make a mistake. 2 minutes on Elder Dragon. They don't want to force the Baron in a 4v5 situation. XL have the tools to respond despite losing a couple of ultimates to lock down the carries of Heretics. Lim is looking for a hook off to the side here. Mercer's going to spot him.
Kadrill, it's 18 degrees in Berlin today. The sun is out, the sky is blue, and XL are trying to flip some burgers. They have to make a barbecue play. Thank you. It didn't deserve the lock, but I appreciate it. Because for XL, it's come down to those Hail Mary moments. They were unable to plug the Dragons being secured. We're a minute 40 from Elder. Baron is up and available. Team fights have been fairly Heretics favored, albeit not the most dominant. So it's just, again, XL need the outplay. They need that magical moment.
They do. Gonna take this pink ward away. They have a blast cone to work with. 1 minute 30 seconds on Elder. They do have an angle to try to rush it over the wall, but there's a ward on the entrance red, which will spot them out. Jankos is lurking, looking for a position, looking for a flank onto Patrick if he tries to catch his mid-wave a little bit too far up, and he is going to. So Jankos, Patrick's flash just came up now.
Jankos has been involved in 17 of his team's 18 kills. Patrick forced a flash on the Chaos Storm. What can Heretics get from this? The unstoppable onslaught is thrown down. Sion curving around the corners.
Uh-oh, Patrick.
Smack that birdie in the face. That's what Jankos wants to do.
Smites him just to rub it in. 50 seconds on the AD carry of XL. Baron is up, Elder's up in 45. Is this just a situation where Heretics get the 2 biggest objectives in the game?
It feels that way indeed. Multiple members of XL, they're going to the Elder. Mercer as well, trying to step in for some vision. But I think XL can start this one, so they will not be able to contest Baron. It has been secured, the second of the game for Heretics. That gold lead ballooning even more. More importantly, though, it's the side lane pressure. It's the empowered minions that are going to give them the control. And for XL, they've now got to flip the burger at Elder.
I'm surprised XL are recalling here. I feel like they have to stay. They have to hold this vision line. If they give up this vision line, the game's basically over. They're not going to get it again. So they have to sit in these bushes, but Patrick's too far, so it's an awkward decision. Do you give up the vision line and try to hold a 4v5? Looks like they're going to have to back away. Patrick's not there. It's really hard to hold it, but I think that's it. They can just start it now, Heretics. I don't know how XL's getting back into this river.
Where's Vito? Where's Odo? We have to follow them. Great vision toggle there from the observers. The shock laser fired over the wall. Flash is available there for Jax Spectre if he needs it, and 4 members of XL being run down. Patrick will now join. It is a 5v5.
Why is Heretics turning there? I thought they were burning through the Elder. They already got it down 3 or 4k HP. It looks like they wanted to fight though, but now Patrick's back, so XL have a small chance. The poke's coming in, Jankos.
Chaos Storm is available. That's a great interrupt. The Cyclone making set of the kill onto Limit. Following forward, the blast goes and splits up everybody, but it's Heretics that have got the damage. If Heretics that have got the advantage, and it's Ruby, the sacrificial lamb. So far, 1-4-2. Heretics have regrouped up 4 members, relatively untouched. Vito's looking for the Fate Unsealed. They're not back from Odo by some time, but there's simply too many HP bars to burn through.
Yeah, that's it.
And 4 members of Heretics looking at Xerxes, looking at Vito, looking to close this game out.
TP from Ebby is up. He can just drop it mid. Xerxes is the last man standing. That's going to be it. Jankos is going to chase him down just to stop him from getting to the base to clear out the wave, but Heretics have done it. They've done it on an Elder Dragon 37 minutes into the game. They've dismantled XL.
22 out of the 23 kills Jankos has been involved in. Nearly 5,000 gold of his team's 10k gold is the lead just in his back pocket. And Heretics have been able to take down XL. And Heretics have been able to just about pick up the win. They have to kill the inhibitor, which has respawned. A little bit of trolling here. Patrick will just about spawn, and I still think it is Dunzos here for XL. Heretics turn their attention over to the Nexus, and Heretics pick up their first win of spring.
And what a performance from the bot lane specifically. Ebby was getting caught out here and there, but Jack Spectra only 1 death this game. 8, 1 in 10, I believe, something along those lines on the Zeri. And Mercer pairing really well with Jankos, but it's Jankos again. Just the driving force behind this team. Pick up their first win.
4 games out of 4 that Jankos in particular has looked very good. I think as a team, there were more answers from Heretics' side to what XL were doing. But I did find myself scratching my head a little bit. I did feel some of maybe the... I'm projecting here. It felt like there was some hesitation on XL's side in the early game.
There was. I feel like the early game is something they need to look at. The mid to late game was okay. They were engaging on good spots. They were finding objective fights, but they were in a